So after the safety rules and trigger pull, how do you stand? We'll start with standing, because you can sit, you can go prone doing all these. Well, I guess you can't really go prone and do some of these stances, but the most common way for most people to shoot, because they're going to go to a range, is standing.
Right.
So how do you hold the gun while standing? And there's 3. We're going to do two-handed.
You don't want to do any single-handed?
We can.
Well,
The single-handed is just, I think, just variations on the two-hand.
yeah.
So I think
Okay.
for most people who shoot at the range, two-handed.
Okay. What about shooting two-handed, dominant, and non-dominant? Which is something I think people need to do.
Once they're proficient with the dominant hand, yes, they should go non-dominant. The training, not the training course, the qualification, or at least when I did it, for the qualification course for CCH, the concealed carry, was 5 rounds, 2 hands, 5 rounds, 1 hand dominant, 2 rounds non-dominant, or maybe 3 rounds non-dominant hand, and they all had to hit a target, 2 by 3 foot target, basically. As long as you were anywhere on it, you passed.
Yeah.
So there's no particular order. There's no preference order or anything like this to these.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
just-
as we thought of them that we put them down, and so we'll talk about them in that order.
Yeah.
The first one we've got is isosceles.
Of basics?
Yeah, basic of basic.
Do we want to get into elbows and
We,
full extension, or do we just want
in general, yeah, we can.
Okay.
We probably should. In general, straight up. That's
to lock
I
your
mean,
elbows, twist
yeah,
them out?
I guess we've got the.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, lock it out, lock out your elbows. One thing we should mention, go to your local gun range and get trained.
Yes.
Every gun range out there has, I'm assuming everyone, has a training, something.
Yeah.
Basic pistol will teach you all this.
That or
Or
if-
some
if-
variation of a
Yeah.
stance. But go there, have a professional tell you how to do it right.
and if
Have
it's,
him watch you, have him tweak how you're doing things, yes.
and if it's your first time ever to a gun range, have somebody go out there with you.
Yes.
Ask them if somebody can help you.
Ask, yes, I was I don't know who I was talking with, but the RSOs at our local gun range love chatting. They want to help
That was
you.
me.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got the message.
They can be annoying, I will admit, when they're hovering behind you, watching you shoot. I'm like, wait, am I doing it right? Am I squeezing?
Oh,
Am
I've gotten to the point here. You want
But-
to take a shot?
right, and but they want to help you. They want to make sure you're safe. And the ones that I was talking about, I've actually started enjoying talking to them, bouncing ideas off of them. If something happens, they're there. They can. We were trying to sight in a scope, and just shot after shot after shot, missing. Not missing the target, but missing the bullseye. And we were frustrated. The RSO noticed, came over, hey, what's going on? I was like, hey, we can't get this sighted in. Here's what we've been trying. Here's what we do. Oh, have you tried this? No, let's try that. Have you tried this? And try that. And then finally, all 3 of us came to the conclusion that bad scope. So, just less rounds down range. They enjoy talking about it. Like I said, the ones the range that I go to, they just love guns. They love shooting. And they just want you guys to enjoy that, everyone else too. So,
And that's a good thing when they want you to be safe, and
Yeah.
and they're willing to help. I mean,
yes. The other range, I hate to call them gun clubs, but the other nice range in town, I enjoy that they have females there, approachable females.
yeah,
They're not your super buff military stance type. Or you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
they're
They're very approachable. They're nice. They want you to have fun, and they are willing to help the females learn to shoot correctly.
they have a ladies' night too.
Yes,
What
most
is it?
ranges have
Is
ladies'
it
night.
Tuesday night or Wednesday night?
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
I know it sounds bad. I don't pay attention to that stuff because I don't go
You're
at
not a
night.
lady.
Well, that too.
But yeah, go find a range that you're comfortable with. If you walk in and you're not comfortable, you're not going to have fun.
Yeah.
Shoot there, fine, but go find something else.
Yeah.
So, all the way back,
Yeah.
rewind,
Okay.
to isosceles, straight out, lock your elbows out. You are a triangle.
Yep.
We'll do better shots of these.
And there's modified.
There's all sorts of people take these and go crazy with them.
I have my own little version that works for me because
Yeah.
completely outstretched,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do.
Mm. Right.
I shake more. I really do.
Yeah.
So I have to bring it back
Mm-hmm.
and give the elbows a little bit of a break. Otherwise, I'll just sit there and I'll.
And you can't get a good side
Yeah.
picture, can't get good grip, you can't
Yeah.
all of our fundamentals.
But a lot of that, not all of it, the shaking wasn't fixed, but a lot of it was taken care of by changing pistols. Because the grip. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. If you.
So-
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
Yep. No. So then the next one is the Chapman, or I believe it's also called the 30 degrees.
Yes.
You
one,
base.
one forward, one back.
Yes. You one leg forward, you're slightly turned, and you're kind of looking down your arm as an extension of the pistol.
Yep. That's what a lot of law enforcement uses. Or
Okay.
at least used to use.
Interesting.
So that was their basic stance when they'd get out.
Hmm.
From what I've seen,
Mhm.
understood, read.
So yeah, and you're actually leaning your head down on your arm, almost like a rifle stock
Yep.
at that point.
Very 80s-ish
Yes.
cop movies and Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I started rewatching that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot how horrible it was. That and Magnum PI.
Yeah.
But the mustache.
Yeah. Tom Selleck.
I know.
Come on.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sorry. Completely off topic.
Yep. And the third one that everybody more or less goes with is the Weaver, which is is kind of in between the two.
Yes.
Neither of your arms are locked out. It's kind of more of a sit back, and the feet are more or less the same as the
Yes.
Chapman.
It's a mix of the two.
Yeah.
So your upper is your isosceles and your lower is your Chapman.
Yeah.
It's
Yep. And you're slightly turned as opposed to
Yep.
facing straight on. You're no longer looking down your arm. It's slightly
Yep. You bring the sights up to your eye rather than your eye to your sights.
Right. So those are the three basic. The one-handed versions are more or less just one-handed version of those.
Yep.
I didn't really get into those. Didn't look into those that
I
much.
would say the basic thing if you're going to shoot single-handed is you need to practice it because it is a lot more.
It's different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
So, and even shooting, two-handed, you need to practice using your dominant and your non-dominant. You should practice that no matter what, though.
Yeah. Make sure you're comfortable with the gun.
Yep.
Do everything with your dominant hand first, and then work out the oddities, the non-dominant, the one hand, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Stay safe. Practice your gun safety
Yep.
rules.
Keep it pointed down range.
Yep.
Keep your
Booger hook off the,
Yep.
the bang switch. Yep. The other one, which we don't have a rifle at the moment, but we'll get
Yes.
one to show later.
We'll
Is
do some pictures of that.
Yep. The site that I got stances from is they call it the bladed off stance, and it's almost like the Chapman,
Yes.
but instead of your arm, you've got the rifle stock.
Correct.
You're turned. You are looking down the rifle. Your whole body's turned a little bit to it. and like I said, it's really like the Chapman.
I was going to say it's a more common hunting stance for using a rifle rather
Yeah.
than an actual engagement stance.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the best way I can think of. To describe
Yeah,
it.
that's a good way to describe it. It is really the hunting stance that you think of when people go hunting. And then the other one that I put is I called it the square stance. I've also seen it the athletic stance, and that's if you watch any of the 3-gun competitions, that's what these guys are doing.
Your
It is-
engagement stance.
You are completely face forward, body forward towards the target, and it's more like the isosceles.
Yep.
And
You have full range of movement in any direction you need to go if you got to move.
right.
So
And something that was interesting, now that we've talked about all this, something that was interesting at the long range class was recoil mitigation, follow-up shot. That's, we've talked about the follow-through. When with PRS, Precision Rifle Series, I think, if you miss that first shot, every millisecond counts, so you want to be able to see you missed that shot. So you want your follow-up to be quick. Also, if you're supposed to shoot 2 shots at something, you don't want wind and weather to change
Yep.
on you. So you've got to see where your shot went and if it's right, so you can pull as soon as you can. Same thing here. You want to recoil mitigation. You want to be able to be as stable and as solid as you can, so that it goes back to the fundamentals, so that your grip can be tight enough, so that your sight picture, your sight alignment's all there, so that your trigger pull can be nice and squeezy as opposed to slap.
but not too rigid.
Right.
That
right.
you're
but
shaking.
Not too rigid that you impose shaking on yourself.
Sorry, I just
Yeah,
so
no, that's
people
right.
aren't confused.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. And what kind of situation are you in?
Yep.
If you're in a hunting stance where one shot will most likely do everything, and you're not going to have forces, on you, and then you're going to do a different stance than in a home defense situation where you may have to move. You may have to move to covers. You may have to move, to
worry about couches, coffee tables, toys.
right.
Stuff
Stepping
on
on
the
a
floor.
Lego.
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah. But you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Which is a real possibility in my house.
Or falling downstairs.
Yep.
Not trying to go too deep into this,
Right,
but you got
it's-
stairs right there by your front door. You
Yep.
know, am I too close? Am I too far back? Or
Yep. One
I've-
step, you're going down, or you're going down the stairs, or
Yeah.
a misstep. Just where are you most able to get that shot off that you need to do?
And in a safe direction that it's not going to do damage to anybody else
Yep.
or anything else.
Yep.
Which, to be 100% honest, it is near impossible in a neighborhood. In
Yes.
your average suburban
Yeah.
neighborhood, it's impossible. So
You want as safe as you can,
yes,
and I think we said this in our first video, to stop the threat.
yes,
Do it until you stop the threat.
yeah.
No more.
You're not out to
Not to exact revenge.
Yeah.
You want to be able to get out safely, to get away from the threat, to stop the threat, and that's it.
yeah. So
Yep.
Yep.
So rifle. The one thing that is, I think, more prevalent with rifle than with pistol is sitting or going prone. You can, and I'm sure they actually, I have no idea if they teach that in the military, whether it's
What?
sit and shoot pistol, or if it's just rifle.
I don't know. I've watched a lot of their rifle training videos.
Right. I've seen the rifle training videos. I've talked to people with,
I haven't seen really any pistol training.
So interesting. The guy who was coworker who was in the Army, recently got out of the Army, he said his training was mostly rifle.
Yep. What branch was he in?
Army. He was
I was
the
going to say in Marines.
He was-
First thing you are is a rifleman.
yeah. I am a rifle. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the Rifleman's Creed.
Yep.
I probably butchered that. I am sorry.
I am none of those. So
yes, neither am I.
don't get me wrong.
He said, in general, he never carried a pistol. The uppity ups, carried the pistols.
Yep.
He was a mortar man. He lobbed the howitzers. He worked the howitzers.
I was gonna say, it makes me want to. If you ever want to have a guest,
Yeah. He would be an interesting one too.
That, and I know a Vietnam
Yeah.
Marine that.
That'd be another good one.
Yep. He
Yep.
worked on the tanks and everything, and
Mm.
I've gotten to see some of the pictures he took while he was over there.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I was a teenager, but when I did that, and that was a short story school project,
Mm-hmm.
and that by the time I was done writing that paper, I was shedding tears just because of what he told me and what I saw in the pictures he took.
Yeah.
Not even being there, I mean, it was.
Interesting. That would
Yeah.
be, yeah. Yeah, my brother-in-law did 2 tours in Afghanistan. The coworker has done at least 1 or 2. So I'm sure we both know
Yeah.
plenty
I
of
was
people
gonna say.
who've done tours.
One grandfather in the Navy, one in the Army, 2 uncles that were in the Marines. I had an aunt that, well, both grandfathers were in World War II.
Mm.
One was at Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
A great uncle who was on the Oklahoma or Missouri. I don't remember which one, but
Yeah.
yeah. Most of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've
yeah.
got a list of
Yeah.
possible guests.
Well, a lot of them are now deceased, unfortunately.
Right.
I've only got one left alive, so.
Yeah. Great grandpa, World War I, grandpa, World War II. Yeah. So it's,
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
I wanted to go, they wouldn't take me. I was already broken by then.
Yeah.
So, sorry if we got
Yep. So
off topic.
sit, stand, prone. Prone is your most stable.
Yes.
You've got the most surface area on the ground. The ground isn't going to move.
Yep.
So that's the sitting would be the next, because you got the second most. Standing would be the least stable, but there are ways to make it stable by
Yes.
feet position, stance, or how you hold the gun, and all that kind of stuff. So how do you hold the gun? Is the grip, right?
Yep. I've heard all kinds of different things. Do you,
I've heard not to do the teacup, and the teacup is like that. Don't do that.
I just laugh that and grab your own wrist.
Yeah, that. Don't.
This does
that doesn't
nothing.
happen. Right.
Or
I think.
my favorite
Yeah.
is you've seen officers clear houses
Mhm.
at night. Okay.
Yep.
What do they always do? They always put their flashlight.
Oh yeah.
So what's going to happen?
You're gonna knock your flashlight out.
Well, you're going to break your wrist.
Right. When you
So-
stand back. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
always makes me nervous when I see people do that. When they're using
yeah.
a flashlight and they go right there behind the
Mm.
slide.
Right, because that's a fulcrum.
Yeah.
With your wrist coming up. Yeah.
Sorry, that.
Yeah.
But so 2-handed grip.
Yep.
Okay. I
The way that I heard it the most, I think the most impactful to me is, God shouldn't have given us guns and thumbs.
that is good. I've never heard that before.
It was some variation. I'm sure I paraphrased it terribly, but
Yeah.
it was something like that. Basically, our thumbs are our worst enemies
Yep.
when it comes to
'Cause you
gripping a
can-
gun. Right. So I don't know. I grip, put basically my thumb on top of the other thumb, and grip. It's
Oh.
more or less how I do it.
I was gonna say I go.
Oh, you go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or my favorite is I'll stack them off to the side so I'm not even touching.
Yeah. I find that when I put my other underneath, that my thumb gets in the way of the trigger. So I put my offhand on top so that I know where my bottom thumb is, and it's usually on the thumb grip or the thumb indent.
I'm gonna say, you
Yeah.
mind?
No, go
I
for
was
it.
gonna say when I do it,
Yeah.
so that way I've got, and it depends on the gun because I've got one that I'll catch the slide stop, slide release,
mhm.
whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it this day and age.
Yep.
So it'll keep it from locking back on
Oh,
empty.
right. Yeah.
So that's why I've gone to that,
Interesting.
or I'll go completely off.
Okay.
And that to me,
Mm-hmm.
that way I don't have to worry about going
Right, you're not torquing
Yeah.
it. Interesting. Let me try that. So, yeah, that is the other thing is grip it, put it down, and then you rotate your thumb into
As
it like that.
Much meat on there as you can get.
Right. Again, it's stability. You want a solid grip on it. You don't want, once you have that sight picture, you don't want it to move. And it feels weird at first.
Yeah.
Practice, practice, practice.
And then we get into grip pressures.
Go for it.
So I've heard 70-30, 60-40, 100-100. I've heard grip it till you start to shake
Mhm.
and then let off till you stop shaking.
Okay.
Okay. I've gotten to the point, and I've also heard grip it like you're shaking somebody's hand. That to me has been the
Shaking like someone's hand in 1950 or 2020?
1950.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a not extreme amount, not a
Right. You don't
you
want.
want a generous amount of grip strength.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, this comes back to what we talked about at the beginning. When my wife couldn't handle the gun because of grip and failure to eject
Right.
stovepipes, she didn't have enough grip on it for the slide to come all the way back and go forward.
Without
With
taking all of it with it.
Right, without the gun itself counteracting what should have happened.
Right. Which is the slide going back and coming forward.
Right. Fully coming back.
Chambering.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
So the round ejected, the slide didn't come all the way back. Well, I think we'll get into that a little
Yeah.
later.
Sorry.
But yeah, no. So you want to be able to grip it hard enough. You don't want to shake. That's too hard. You don't want to grip it too hard or too soft to where you start getting failures.
Right.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Whatever's comfortable.
And see, that's what's improved even my one-handed shooting is going, okay, I'm shaking somebody's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, because it does also affect your trigger pull.
Yes.
Because you got to have still enough dexterity to move your trigger finger without moving the rest of them.
Yep.
So,
Right.
and then do you squeeze it front and back? Do you squeeze it side to side? Are you strangling it?
Yeah.
So there's so many factors that go into grip
Yeah.
that I think people take for granted and don't even think about.
There are better grips. There are worse grips.
There are good grip angles, bad grip angles.
Yes.
And it's not always the person either.
Right.
So
How the gun fits in your hand
yeah, well, it's kind of like
dictates how.
there's one sitting over there that literally fills the palm of my hand. I can shoot it single-handed. I can shoot it both hands. I can do dominant and non-dominant single-handed, and I mean it works for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
YouTube again.
Yeah.
Go get trained. Go talk to someone who's knows what they're doing.
Yeah, we're just guidance, not
If you take us as law,
don't.
I'm sorry.
Just don't.
Yeah.
We're trying to point you in the right direction.
We're trying to help how we've learned. I mean, we've gone to training.
Yeah.
We've learned.
Which
We need to keep going.
I need to do another refresher
I was thinking the
on
same
malfunction
thing.
clearing.
Yep. Basic pistol 101
that
type
was
stuff.
fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the most fun I've ever had.
The class, the basic carbine class or basic pistol class that I took, defensive pistol class, was the most fun I've ever had. Most shocking too.
It's a rude awakening.
Yeah, it really is. That exercise is branded into my brain. The scenario was basically some guy's on top of you trying to beat the snot out of you, and you shoot. And so I had a hat on. My hat bill touched the target. Had to draw right there, shoot, and then start backing away, presenting. The blast that came up in front of that target was something that I did not expect. And I don't think anybody faltered at that point. At least I didn't see anybody visibly get startled or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure somebody did. At least one.
I probably. But when I did it, I mean, it was like, oh crap! this is real now.
Yeah.
And so
It's in my face and I can't run away.
right. And you can't react to that. You got to continue to till the threat is gone.
Yep. And you can do that over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I'm guessing 10 out of 10, it's going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
It's wow.
There's always going to be,
Which is why you train.
yeah, a moment of hesitation.
Yep. That way, when the real thing happens, you're there. You know, you may not know that it's coming, but you've practiced it, and it's like, oh, okay, that happens. Now do this.
Yep.
So
you build that muscle memory. You ingrain that into your brain of what's going to happen.
Yep.
And that way you can try and get past that.
Yeah. Yep.